The wreckage drifted in the darkness of space. Pieces of hull plating tumbled slowly, catching the light from a distant star. Admiral Daniel Cross stood on the bridge of his flagship, staring at the debris field through the main viewing screen. Each piece of metal had been part of something precious. A home, a dream, a future. "How many?" he asked quietly. His second officer checked the scanner readings one more time, though they both knew the answer would not change. 50,000 souls, sir. Families, children, farmers, teachers, all gone. The Aurora's Hope had been a colony ship, not a military vessel, not a transport carrying soldiers or weapons. It carried families who wanted to start new lives on a distant world. They had packed their belongings, said goodbye to Earth, and headed toward a planet that promised fresh air and open land. They never arrived. Cross walked closer to the screen. His reflection stared back at him, superimposed over the wreckage. He was 53 years old and had served in Earth's defense fleet for 30 years. He had seen battles, lost friends, made hard choices, but this was different. This was not war. This was murder. "The Empire admits responsibility?" he asked. "Yes, sir. They claim the Aurora's Hope entered their territory without permission. They destroyed it as a warning to other human ships." Cross felt his jaw tighten. "It was in neutral space. Our navigation logs prove it." "The Empire does not care about our logs, sir." The Admiral turned away from the screen. He could not look at it anymore. Somewhere in that debris field were toys, books, pictures of Earth that families had brought to remember home, all of it destroyed in seconds by weapons. "This is the 7th ship," Cross said. 7 ships in 2 years. How many more before Earth responds?" His officer had no answer. Cross did not expect one. The question was not really for her. It was for the politicians back on Earth. It was for the Galactic Council. It was for everyone who kept saying that patience and diplomacy would solve everything. 3 days later, Ambassador Torres stood before the Galactic Council. The chamber was enormous, with seats arranged in a circle around the central speaking platform. Representatives from hundreds of worlds watched her. Some looked concerned. Most looked bored. Torres had practiced her speech carefully. She had all the facts ready. The evidence was clear. But as she began to speak, she realized that facts would not matter here. The council had already decided. "The colony ship Aurora's Hope was destroyed without warning," she said. Her voice echoed in the vast chamber. 50,000 human civilians died, men, women, and children. They were not soldiers. They were families seeking a new home. High Chancellor of the Empire sat in his elevated seat, looking down at her. His species was tall and thin, with gray skin and dark eyes. He looked almost bored. "Ambassador Torres speaks of tragedy," said, "but she ignores the truth. Human ships spread across the galaxy like a disease. Your species breeds too quickly. You claim too many worlds. The Empire must protect its interests." Torres felt heat rise in her chest. "We claimed no world that belonged to others. We followed all protocols. We respected all boundaries. The Aurora's Hope was in neutral space." "According to human navigation," replied. "The Empire's measurements show otherwise." "Then let us review both sets of data together," Torres said. "Let this council examine the evidence." A long silence followed. The council members looked at each other. Finally, the council chairman spoke. His species looked like a cross between a bird and a lizard, with feathers and scales mixed together. "The council finds this matter too complex for immediate resolution," the chairman said. "We recommend further diplomatic discussions between Earth and the Empire. Both sides should work toward mutual understanding." Torres stared at him. 50,000 people are dead. This is not complex. This is murder. We demand justice." "You demand much for such a young species," said, his voice cold. "Earth has been in the galactic community for barely a century. You do not dictate terms to ancient empires." Other council members nodded. Torres realized the horrible truth. They were not going to help. They had never planned to help. Earth was alone in this. "We have shown patience," Torres said. "We have followed your rules. We have respected your authority. But there must be limits. If this council will not deliver justice, then Earth will." Actually laughed. The sound was harsh and mocking. "Will you declare war on the Empire, one small world against 10,000 systems? Your military is impressive for primitives, but you cannot win." Torres stood very still. She had been a diplomat for 20 years. She knew when to speak and when to be silent. But right now she wanted to scream. She wanted to make them understand. 50,000 people, children, bobbies, all dead because the Empire saw humans as inferior. Instead, she spoke quietly. Earth does not seek war, we never have, but we will not allow our people to be killed without consequence. The Empire will face justice, with or without this council's help. She turned and walked out of the chamber. Behind her, she heard laughing again. The council members began talking among themselves, already moving to other business. The deaths of 50,000 humans meant nothing to them. Back on her ship, Tors sent an encrypted message to Earth. It was short and simple. Council refuses to act, recommend final option. The response came 12 hours later. It was from Admiral Cross. Proceed with Operation Iron Curtain, all assets in position. Tors had hoped it would not come to this. She had believed in diplomacy, in peaceful solutions, but sometimes peace required strength. Sometimes justice required action. Admiral Cross broadcast his message on every galactic frequency. Every ship, every station, every world would hear it. This is Admiral Daniel Cross of Earth's Defense Fleet. Effective immediately, the Empire is under full quarantine. No ships may enter or leave Empire space. Any vessel attempting to cross quarantine lines will be disabled and detained. This is not a threat. This is a fact. The Empire killed 50,000 human civilians. They will answer for this crime. We gave the Galactic Council a chance to deliver justice. They refused. Now Earth will enforce it. This is your only warning. The galaxy erupted in chaos. News channels filled with analysis and speculation. Some called it an act of war. Others called it madness. One small world trying to quarantine an empire of 10,000 systems. It was impossible. It was insane. High Chancellor issued his own statement. The humans bluff. They have neither the ships nor the courage to enforce such a quarantine. The Empire will continue its business as normal. Earth's tantrum changes nothing. But Admiral Cross was not bluffing. Hidden across the galaxy, hundreds of human ships moved into position. They had been deployed quietly over the past 3 months, ever since the 6th human ship was destroyed. Earth had learned to prepare for the worst. Now that preparation would be tested. Cross looked at the tactical display showing the positions of his ships. Every major jump point leading to Empire space was covered. Every trade route was monitored. The net was complete. They think we are weak because we prefer peace, Cross said to his bridge crew. They will learn the difference between preferring peace and being unable to enforce it. His tactical officer nodded. All ships report ready, sir. The Iron Curtain has fallen. Price watched his scanner screen with calm focus. 3 merchant ships approached the Taurus Gate jump point. They were large vessels, probably carrying trade goods worth millions of credits. Behind them came their escort, 4 military ships with weapons powered and shields raised. They are not slowing down, sir, Lieutenant Cole said from the tactical station. They intend to run the blockade. Price nodded. He had expected this. The Empire had announced that Earth's quarantine was meaningless. They would prove it by sending convoys through as normal. This convoy was the test. The galaxy was watching to see what humans would do. The EDS Sentinel was not an impressive-looking ship. It was a patrol vessel built for speed and efficiency rather than intimidation. Next to the massive vessels, it looked tiny. That was exactly what Price wanted them to think. Open a channel, he ordered. The communication link activated. The face of a trade captain appeared on screen. He looked annoyed. Human vessel, move aside. You have no authority to block our passage. The Empire does not recognize your illegal quarantine. Price kept his voice calm and professional. Captain, you are approaching Empire space. Under the current quarantine, no traffic is permitted in or out. Turn your ships around. The captain made a dismissive gesture. We follow the orders of the Empire, not of Earth. Move aside or be moved. Price glanced at Cole. She had already calculated firing solutions for all 7 ships. Her fingers hovered over the weapon's controls, waiting for his command. Last warning, Price said. Turn around now. The captain cut the communication. The convoy accelerated toward the jump point. Their weapons locked onto the Sentinel. They were betting that one small human ship would not dare fire on 7 larger vessels. They were betting wrong. Disable their engines, Price ordered. No casualties. Cole's fingers danced across her controls. The Sentinel's weapon systems were new, installed just 3 months ago. The weapons fired energy beams so precise they could cut through armor without touching the crew compartments inside. 7 shots, 7 direct hits. All 7 ships lost power to their engines within seconds. They drifted in space, unable to move but with life support fully functional. Not one crew member was injured. Price opened the channel again. The captain stared at him in shock. "Your ships are disabled but intact," Price said. "Your crews are safe. Empire recovery vessels may collect you, but they may not enter the jump point. The quarantine holds. This is your only demonstration." He ended the communication and turned to his crew. "Good work. Log the incident and forward to command. I expect we will have more visitors soon." He was right. Within hours, ships began appearing at every quarantine point around Empire space. Dozens of vessels tried to challenge the blockade. Some were merchants hopping to slip through. Others were smaller military ships testing human resolve. Each time the result was the same: precise weapons fire, disabled engines, no casualties. The ships drifted helplessly while their crews radioed for help. Trade Prince was not accustomed to being told no. He was one of the wealthiest individuals in the Empire, with connections to the highest levels of government. His fleet of luxury transports carried rare goods worth fortunes. When he approached the blockade at the Perseus Gate, he expected the humans would be reasonable. "I am offering you 10 million credits," he told the human captain over the communication channel. "Let my ships pass and the money is yours. No one needs to know." The human captain looked young, maybe 30 years old. He did not even blink at the offer. "The quarantine applies to all vessels, regardless of wealth or status. Turn around." 20 million, said. "Think of what you could do with that money. Retire, buy a planet, whatever you wish." "Turn around," the captain repeated. Felt his temper rise. He had bribed officials on 1,000 worlds. Everyone had a price. These humans were no different. 50 million credits, final offer. "You have 10 seconds to begin turning your ships around," the captain said. "After that, I will disable them." Cut the communication, foolish humans. They thought their moral posturing made them superior. He would show them. His shields were military grade, purchased at great expense. Human weapons would not penetrate them. He would force his way through and prove the quarantine was a joke. All ships full power to shields, ram through the blockade. His fleet of 12 ships accelerated toward the jump point. The small human patrol ship fired, smiled, waiting for his shields to absorb the shots. The beams cut through his shields like they were not there. Every ship in his fleet went dark. Power systems failed. Engines died. Emergency lighting flickered on as backup systems engaged. Sat in his command chair, staring at the dark screens around him. 50 million credits worth of shields worthless. The human captain's face reappeared on the emergency channel. "Your ships will be recovered by Empire vessels within 6 hours. Use that time to reconsider your approach to human authority. The quarantine is not for sale." On Earth, Senator stood before the media. He was angry and he wanted everyone to know it. "This quarantine is an act of war," he declared. "Earth has no right to blockade an entire empire. We are starting a conflict that will destroy us. I call for immediate withdrawal of all military forces and a return to diplomatic solutions." The reporters shouted questions, answered them with passion. He spoke about peace, about the danger of military action, about the need for restraint. He spoke for 20 minutes before Admiral Cross entered the press room. Cross walked to the podium, stepped aside, surprised. The Admiral rarely appeared before the media. When he did, it meant something important was happening. "Senator raises valid concerns," Cross began. His voice was quiet, but it carried through the room. "He asks why Earth would risk war. He wonders if the quarantine is justified. These are fair questions. Let me answer them." Cross pulled up a holographic display. Images appeared in the air above the podium. 7 ships. The names glowed beneath each one. The Aurora's Hope, the New Dawn, the Star Seeker, the Promise of Tomorrow, the Golden Horizon, the Fresh Start, the Second Chance. 7 colony ships, 7 attacks, 7 massacres, not military targets, not legitimate war. Murder of civilians, sanctioned by the Empire and ignored by the Galactic Council. More images appeared. Faces, thousands of faces, men, women, children, all dead. These people followed every rule. They harmed no one. They claimed no territory that belonged to others. They were killed because the Empire sees humans as inferior, as expendable. Cross paused, looking directly at. "The Senator speaks of peace. I value peace, but peace without justice is just surrender with better words." Said nothing, the room was silent. This quarantine is not about conquest, Cross continued. It is about consequences. The Empire must learn that killing humans has a cost. The galaxy must learn that Earth protects its people. We gave diplomacy years to work. It failed. Now we try something else. A reporter raised her hand. Admiral, the Empire's war fleet is moving toward the Taurus Gate. 200 ships. How will you respond? Cross had known this was coming. Intelligence had tracked the fleet for hours. The Empire was done with tests. They were sending real military force to break the blockade. 200 warships against 3 human patrol vessels at the Taurus Gate. On paper, it was not even a fair fight. We will respond appropriately, Cross said. Earth does not seek war, but we do not fear it either. At the Taurus Gate, Captain Price received the alert. His scanner showed the massive fleet approaching. 200 ships. His 2 companion vessels, the Defender and the Guardian, held position beside him. 3 ships against 200. The Admiral must be feeling confident. The enemy fleet emerged from hyperspace in an impressive display of coordination. They formed a battle line, weapons charging. Price had to admit it was intimidating. 200 ships, each larger and apparently more powerful than his small patrol vessel. The Admiral's face appeared on the communication screen. He was old, with scars marking his face, a veteran of many battles. Human vessels, you are outnumbered and move aside or be destroyed. We will break this blockade and your toys will not stop us. Price smiled. He actually smiled. You came with 200 ships to fight 3. That seems like overkill. Are you afraid of us? The Admiral's expression darkened. Arrogance from primitives. Your species learned to travel between stars less than a century ago. The Empire has perfected warfare for 10,000 years. You are children playing with weapons you do not understand. Then this will be educational for you, Price said. Fire. The 3 human ships opened fire simultaneously, but they were not firing normal weapons. These were the new systems, the ones Earth had developed in secret while the galaxy thought humans were peaceful and weak. Each beam locked onto multiple targets, splitting and redirecting with impossible precision. 200 ships, all disabled within 90 seconds, not destroyed, not blown apart, just dead in space, drifting, powerless, every engine cut, every weapon system fried, but life support intact, medical facilities working, not one casualty. Price watched the tactical display as the last enemy ship went dark. Around him, his crew was silent. Even they had not fully understood how effective the new weapons would be. Open a channel to the Admiral, Price said. The Admiral's face appeared. He looked shocked, unable to comprehend what had just happened. His entire fleet, the pride of the Empire, disabled by 3 small ships in less than 2 minutes. Your crews are safe, Price said. Your ships can be recovered, but understand this, Earth has been building, preparing, and developing new technology for decades. While the galaxy dismissed us, we grew stronger. While the Council ignored our complaints, we made ourselves impossible to ignore. The quarantine stands. Tell your leaders that 200 ships were not enough. 2,000 would not be enough. The Empire cannot break what Earth has built. Dr. Lisa pulled her hood lower over her face as she walked through the streets of IV. The planet was deep inside Empire territory, far from any human worlds. No one here should know she was human. Her identification papers said she was from a neutral species, a medical professional offering her services to those in need. It was not entirely a lie. She was a doctor. She did help those in need. She just happened to work for Earth's intelligence services. The quarantine had been in effect for 3 weeks now. Already the effects were visible. Market stalls that used to overflow with goods from across the Empire now stood half empty. Medical supply stores had signs saying they were out of important medicines. People gathered in small groups, talking in worried voices about the future. Reached the building she was looking for. It looked abandoned from the outside, but that was intentional. She knocked 3 times, paused, then knocked twice more. The door opened immediately. A young female looked out, saw his face, and stepped aside to let her enter. Inside, the building was crowded. Dozens of civilians waited in makeshift treatment rooms. Most were, but saw other species too. All of them looked sick or injured. All of them needed help their government was not providing. Doctor, the young said. Her name was Na. She had been a medical student before the quarantine. Now she helped run this illegal clinic. Thank you for coming. We have 15 new patients today. 2 children with fever, 3 elderly with chronic conditions. The rest have injuries from the protests. nodded and moved to wash her hands. Have the supplies we requested arrived? Yes, Brandon got them through last night. I do not know how he does it. The Empire watches every supply route, but somehow your people always find a way. Smiled but said nothing. Brandon Hayes was Earth's best operative in this sector. He had networks and connections that seemed impossible. Medical supplies, food, information, all moved through his channels. The Empire was slowly starving, but the civilians were surviving because humans made sure they received what they needed. She moved to the first patient, a child no more than 6 years old. The girl's mother sat beside her, looking exhausted and afraid, checked the girl's temperature and symptoms. It was a bacterial infection, easily treated with the right medicine. In normal times, any clinic could handle this. But these were not normal times. The Empire's medical supply chain had collapsed when the quarantine cut off imports. She needs antibiotics, said, pulling the medication from her bag. 2 pills twice a day for 7 days. She will recover fully. The mother took the medicine with trembling hands. Thank you, doctor. We went to the government hospital, but they said they had no medicine left. They told us to wait, but she was getting worse. Touched the woman's shoulder gently. Your daughter will be fine now, but you should know this medicine came from Earth. Humans are making sure people like you get what you need. The woman looked confused. But Earth is our enemy. The government says humans are trying to destroy us. Look at your daughter, said quietly. She is alive because humans sent medicine. That is the truth. Your government chose war. Earth chose to protect innocent people, even if those people are citizens of the Empire. She moved to the next patient, an elderly male with a heart condition. His medication had run out 2 weeks ago, had brought more, synthesized in a hidden lab that Brandon's network operated. The old man nearly cried when she handed it to him. I thought I would die, he whispered. The government said there was nothing they could do. They said the humans were responsible for the shortages. Humans are responsible for making sure you get this medication, replied. Earth did not start this crisis. Your leaders did when they killed our civilians, but we will not let innocents suffer for their leaders' crimes. She worked through the afternoon, treating patient after patient. Burns from protest confrontations, malnutrition from food shortages, injuries from civil unrest. The Empire was breaking apart from within, and the people were paying the price. Brandon Hayes watched from the shadows as another supply convoy moved through the city. It was deep night, and the streets were mostly empty. Curfew had been declared after the latest protests. The Empire's military tried to control the population, but control was slipping. He had been embedded in the Empire for 7 years, long before the quarantine began. Earth had known this day might come. They had prepared. Now that preparation was saving lives. His communicator buzzed softly, a message from one of his contacts inside the Empire's military. He read it quickly and his jaw tightened. The information was explosive. Commander Orr sat in his office, staring at the classified document on his screen. He had served in the military for 30 years. He had believed in the Empire's strength, its honor, its superiority. Now he was reading proof that everything he believed was a lie. The Aurora's hope. The report was clear. The colony ship had been in neutral space. It had followed all protocols. The attack was not a defensive action or a territorial dispute. It was deliberate murder ordered by High Chancellor himself. The goal was to intimidate humans, to show them that the Empire could kill them without consequence. 50,000 civilians, children, families, all dead because wanted to prove Empire dominance, and the other 6 ships. Each attack had been planned, approved, celebrated. The Empire's leadership had been systematically killing human civilians for 2 years. Or had children of his own, 2 daughters and a son. He tried to imagine them on a colony ship heading toward a new life, filled with hope and dreams. Then he imagined that ship being destroyed without warning, his children dying afraid and confused, calling for him, and he could not save them. He stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the city was dark. The quarantine had forced power rationing. Streets that used to glow with light now sat in shadow. The Empire's glory was fading, and for the first time, Orr wondered if it deserved to fade. His door chimed. He called for entry and was surprised to see 3 other commanders enter. All of them wore expressions similar to his own. Anger, shame, determination. You have read the reports? Commander asked. Orr nodded. The attacks were not defensive actions, they were murder. High Chancellor has been lying to us. another commander said. To the entire military, to all of our people. He started a war with Earth by killing their children, then blamed humans for defending themselves. Moved closer, lowering his voice. The government is collapsing, cities are rioting, food is running out, medicine is gone, and the worst part is the humans could have let us all starve. Instead, they are feeding our civilians, treating our sick. I have reports of human operatives risking their lives to deliver supplies to our people. They protect our innocence while our leaders watch us suffer. Or had heard the same reports. He had not believed them at first. Surely Earth would want revenge. Instead, humans were proving themselves more honorable than the empire they fought against. What do you propose? He asked. The High Command is divided, said. Many officers are questioning orders. Some refuse to fire on protest crowds. The empire is breaking, or the question is whether we let it shatter completely or try to build something better from the pieces. Before or could respond, his communicator received an urgent alert. All officers were ordered to report to command immediately. Something major was happening. Doctor was treating a patient when the broadcast interrupted every screen in the city. High Chancellor appeared, his face stern and angry. Citizens of the Empire, I speak to you in our hour of need. The human quarantine continues to strangle our worlds. Food grows scarce. Medicine runs out. Power fails. All of this suffering is caused by Earth's aggression against us. They claim we attacked them without cause, but this is a lie. Humans are expansionist conquerors who seek to dominate the galaxy. We defended ourselves, and now they punish all of us for it. Watch the faces of the people around her. They look tired, skeptical, was losing them. The humans want you to suffer, continued. They want you to blame your government, but I tell you now, we will break this quarantine. We will restore the Empire's glory. We will show these primitives that the Empire does not bend to threats. The broadcast ended. For a moment the room was silent. Then someone spoke up, an older female sitting near the back. He says humans want us to suffer, but the medicine that saved my grandson came from humans. The food my family ate yesterday came from humans. The government hospitals have nothing. The government warehouses are empty, but somehow humans keep finding ways to help us. Others nodded. More voices joined in, listened as the civilians shared stories. Human operatives secretly delivering supplies, underground networks providing food and medicine. Messages from Earth saying that the people were not the enemy, only their government. My cousin works at the spaceport, a young male said. He told me that Earth's ships disable our military vessels but never kill the crews. They could destroy everything. They could make us hurt the way we made them hurt. But they do not. They show mercy we did not show them. Na looked at, is it true? Does Earth really distinguish between the government and the people? Chose her words carefully. Earth's quarantine targets the Empire's ability to make war, but humans believe that innocent people should not suffer for their leaders' crimes. That is why we are here. That is why we risk everything to bring you medicine and food. Your government attacked our children. We could hate all of you for that. Instead, we feed yours. An old male stood up slowly. He had been silent until now. I fought in the Empire's military 60 years ago. I believed we were honorable. I believed we protected the weak and upheld justice. Today I learned what our leaders really are. They are murderers who hide behind our loyalty. These humans, these young species we called primitives, they show us what honor actually looks like. He turned to face everyone in the room. The High Chancellor says humans want to conquer us, but conquerors do not send doctors to heal their enemies. Conquerors do not protect children who belong to the species they fight. Earth has shown us mercy we did not earn and do not deserve. Perhaps it is time we show them something in return. Knew she should stay quiet. Her mission was to provide aid, not to encourage revolution. But she had treated too many sick children. She had seen too many families suffering while their leaders lived in luxury. She had listened to too many civilians realizing the truth about their government. Earth does not want to rule you, she said clearly. We want justice for the people who died. We want the beings responsible to face consequences. We want a galaxy where killing civilians has a cost. Your people are not our enemies. Your government is. If you want change, that is your choice to make. But know this, when the time comes, Earth will help you build something better, because that is what humans do. We protect. We heal. We give second chances, even to those who did not give chances to us. Outside, in the streets, the protests were growing larger. Commander Orr and his fellow officers made their decision. Messages moved through secret channels, connecting military units across the Empire. A resistance was forming, not against Earth, but against their own corrupt leadership. High Chancellor sat in his tower watching reports of unrest across his empire. He did not understand. The people should rally against Earth. They should unite in anger against the quarantine. Instead, they were turning against him, against the government, against everything the empire had built. He did not see that the empire he built was already dead. Earth had not destroyed it with weapons. Earth had simply shown the people what honor looked like, and in that mirror the empire saw its own corruption reflected back. The final broadcast came not from, but from Brandon Hayes. He hijacked every communication channel in the sector and sent one message across all Empire worlds. People of the Empire, this is a message from Earth. Your leaders ordered the murder of 50. Thou Gregory Park stared at his analysis screens with growing alarm. He was an intelligence analyst for Earth's defense fleet, specializing in tracking large-scale military movements. What he was seeing now made his blood run cold. "Sir, you need to see this immediately," he called to his supervisor. Commander Sarah Blake came over quickly. She had learned to trust Park's instincts. When he sounded worried, there was usually good reason. "What do we have?" she asked. Park pulled up the tactical display. Red markers filled the screen, each one representing a warship. There were thousands of them. "The Empire is mobilizing everything," Park said. "Every battle group, every reserve fleet, every ship that can fly and fight. They are gathering at Rally Point Omega 7. Current count is 3,000 ships and climbing." Blake felt her stomach tighten. Destination. "Unknown, but I can make an educated guess. They are positioned along the most direct route to Sol system, to Earth." Blake immediately opened a priority channel to Admiral Cross. He answered within seconds. "Admiral, we have a problem. The Empire is massing its entire fleet. We believe they are planning a direct assault on Earth." Cross's face remained calm, but Blake saw his jaw tighten slightly. "Time to arrival. If they jump now, 90 minutes, maybe less." "All our ships are at the quarantine lines," Cross said quietly. "Weeks away from Earth at best. We cannot recall them in time." "Sir, 3,000 ships. If they reach Earth—" Blake did not finish the sentence. She did not need to. "I know," Cross replied. "Contact Lunar Command. Activate the grid, all defensive platforms to full power. This is what we prepared for. Now we find out if it was enough." High Chancellor stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Pride of Empire. Around him floated 3,000 warships, the largest military force ever assembled in history. It had cost his government its last reserves of fuel and supplies to gather this fleet. The Empire was starving, collapsing, dying, but had one last gambit. "We will strike at the heart," he told his fleet commanders. "Earth believes itself safe behind its quarantine. They have sent all their ships to blockade us, leaving there exposed. We will destroy their planet, their government, their ability to wage war. When Earth is ashes, the quarantine dies with it. The Empire survives." His officers looked uncertain. Some nodded. Others remained silent, did not care about their doubts. History would remember him as the Chancellor who saved the Empire, or it would remember nothing at all. "All ships jump on my command. Target Sol system, Earth dies today." The fleet jumped. Space bent and twisted as 3,000 ships vanished, racing through hyperspace toward humanities. On Earth, Admiral Cross stood in the Defense Command Center, buried deep under the lunar surface. Around him, dozens of officers worked at their stations, coordinating the planet's defensive systems. Systems that had been built in secret over decades. Systems that the galaxy knew nothing about. "All platforms report ready, sir," Captain Stone reported. She commanded Earth's home defense fleet, the ships that never left Sol system. Most people did not even know they existed. "How many platforms do we have active?" Cross asked. 473 orbital defense stations, each armed with the same weapon systems we use on our ships, plus 63 of our home fleet vessels, against 3,000. "Worse odds than the Taurus Gate," Cross observed. "Yes, sir, but we have something they do not." "What is that?" Stone smiled grimly. "We are defending our home. Every human on this planet, on Luna, on Mars, on every station in this system knows what is coming. They know what the Empire did to the Aurora's hope. They know we fight for our families. That gives us an edge no weapon can match." Cross nodded. He walked to the main viewing screen showing Earth from space. The blue and green planet hung in the darkness, beautiful and fragile. Somewhere down there were his friends. 8 billion humans who had no idea that in minutes, 3,000 warships would emerge from hyperspace with orders to destroy them all. All stations, he broadcast across the defense network. The Empire comes for our home. They come to finish what they started with the Aurora's hope. They believe we are weak because we are merciful. They believe we are vulnerable because we prefer peace. Today we teach them the final lesson. Humanity defends its own. The alarm sounded. Space ripped open as the fleet emerged from hyperspace. 3,000 ships appeared between Mars and Earth, their weapons already charging. On the Pride of Empire smiled. There were the orbital platforms, exactly where intelligence had said they would be. A few hundred stations against 3,000 ships. Earth would fall within the hour. All ships weapons free, destroy everything. The fleet fired. Thousands of energy beams and missiles streaked toward Earth and its defensive grid. Watched the display, expecting to see the platforms explode. Instead, a wall of light erupted around Earth. Every defensive platform, every home fleet ship, every hidden weapons system activated simultaneously. The space around Earth filled with energy as the defensive grid came online at full power. The Empire's first attack wave hit the grid and simply vanished. Absorbed, redirected, negated, Earth's shields were not just strong, they were absolute. "What is this?" demanded. "Our weapons should have overwhelmed any shield system." His tactical officer worked frantically at his console. "Sir, the energy readings do not make sense. It is like they have turned the entire planet into a fortress. Multiple layers of shields, each one stronger than anything in our database, and the platforms they are firing back." Earth's counterattack began. 400 platforms opened fire with weapons that made the fleet's arsenal look primitive. Each beam found its mark with perfect accuracy. Ships began dying by the dozens. Captain Stone coordinated the defense from her flagship. "Focus fire on their heavy cruisers. Disable command ships first. We want the fleet broken and scattered, not martyred." Her weapons officer nodded. Targeting solutions locked, firing. The battle raged for 20 minutes. To the fleet, it felt like hours. They had come expecting an easy victory. Instead, they were being systematically destroyed. Ships exploded or went dark, drifting helpless in space. The Empire's mighty fleet was being torn apart. Watched his tactical display in horror. Half his fleet was gone. Half. Against a defense grid that seemed impossible to damage. Earth's shields held against everything he threw at them. Meanwhile, human weapons cut through Empire armor like it was paper. "Concentrate all fire on Sector 7, he ordered. "Punch through the grid. We only need one opening." The remaining ships focused their attack on a single point in Earth's defensive shield. For a moment, it seemed to work. The shield flickered, energy readings spiked, felt hope surge through him. Then the shield stabilized, and Admiral Cross gave a new order. "They have shown their hand. They want Sector 7. Give it to them, all platforms in that sector full power, show them what Earth really built." The platforms in Sector 7 did not just fire their weapons. They channeled raw energy through focusing arrays that had taken decades to perfect. The beam that erupted from Earth's defense grid was like a piece of the sun itself. It swept through the concentrated Empire ships like a burning sword through wheat. 200 ships vaporized in seconds, not disabled, not captured, gone, reduced to atoms. Earth had shown mercy at every step of the quarantine. Now they showed what happened when mercy was rejected. The remaining Empire ships broke formation. Some tried to run, others continued firing uselessly at the grid. All of them failed. One by one, the human defense platforms picked them apart. Engines destroyed, weapons fried, life support kept functional. The same mercy Earth had shown from the beginning, even now when the enemy came to destroy there. On the Pride of Empire watched his fleet die. 3,000 ships reduced to floating wreckage in under 30 minutes. The Empire's final gambit had failed. Earth had not just survived, it had barely been scratched. His communication officer looked at him with fear. "Sir, we are receiving a transmission from Earth. Admiral Cross wishes to speak with you." Considered refusing. What was left to say? But pride made him accept. He would face his defeat with whatever dignity remained. Admiral Cross appeared on the screen. He looked tired but calm. Behind him, the Lunar Command Center continued operating smoothly. Earth's defenders were already working to capture disabled Empire ships and secure their crews. High Chancellor, Cross said. You came to destroy our world, you failed. You have defeated us, replied, his voice hollow. The Empire is finished. The empire you built is finished, Cross agreed. You killed 50,000 human civilians, families, children. You thought it would intimidate us. Instead, it revealed what you truly are, a murderer hiding behind the title of Chancellor. What will you do now? Asked. Destroy our worlds, kill our civilians in revenge, show the galaxy that humans are no better than we are. Cross shook his head. That is what you would do. That is what your empire has always done, but Earth is not the empire. We do not kill innocents to prove points. We do not burn worlds to demonstrate strength. Every ship you sent here has been disabled, not destroyed. Every crew will be taken prisoner and treated well. When this is over, they will go home, because we remember what it is like to lose people we love. We will not inflict that pain on Empire families unless we have no other choice. Mercy almost laughed. You show us mercy after we came to destroy you. We show your people mercy, Cross corrected. You will not receive the same consideration. Earth will deliver you to your own people for trial. The civilians you let starve, the soldiers you led to their deaths, they will judge you. That is justice, not revenge, justice. The Empire will never accept this, said. We do not surrender to primitives. The Empire already has, Cross replied. While you threw away 3,000 ships on a pointless attack, your military commanders made a different choice. Commander Orr and his Reform Coalition have taken control of your government. They are ready to negotiate. They understand what you never did. Humanity does not want to conquer you. We want peace. We want justice. We want a galaxy where killing civilians has consequences. Slumped in his command chair, it was over. Everything he had built, everything he had fought for, destroyed, not by human weapons, but by his own choices. Your crew will be treated well, Cross said. They followed your orders. They are not responsible for your crimes. But you, Chancellor, you will answer for every life you took, every human on the Aurora's hope, every civilian in your empire who suffered because of your pride. That is the price of your actions. The transmission ended. Sat alone on his bridge, surrounded by the ruins of his fleet. He had started this war believing humans were weak. He had ended it learning they were strong in ways he could never understand. On Earth, Admiral Cross watched as recovery teams moved to secure the disabled Empire ships. 3,000 vessels, tens of thousands of prisoners, all would be processed, treated well, and eventually returned home. Because that was what humans did. They defended themselves absolutely. They showed mercy whenever possible, and they never forgot the difference between the two. Captain Stone approached him. Sir, we have confirmed reports from Empire Space. Commander Orr's forces have secured the capital. The old government is dissolved. They are requesting immediate negotiations to end the quarantine. Cross nodded slowly. Contact Ambassador Torres. Tell her to prepare for the final phase. The war is over. Now comes the harder part, building peace from these ashes. He looked at Earth through the viewing screen one last time. The planet that had survived everything. The Galaxy Ambassador Torres walked through the corridors of the newly established provisional government building on the 3 months ago, this place had been High Chancellor's palace. Now it served as the headquarters for Commander Orr's reform government. The difference was obvious. Where there had been luxury and excess, now there was function and efficiency. Where there had been guards blocking every door, now there were open halls and accessible offices. Orr waited for her in a simple conference room. He stood when she entered, a sign of respect that the old Empire leadership would never have shown a human. Ambassador Torres, thank you for coming. Please sit. Torres took her seat across from him. Between them lay documents representing months of negotiation, the terms of peace, the price of justice, the foundation of a new relationship between Earth and what remained of the Empire. The trials are complete, Orr said. High Chancellor and 73 members of his inner circle have been sentenced. Life imprisonment for crimes against sentient beings. No death sentences as you requested. They will live with their guilt rather than escape it through execution. Torres nodded. Earth believes in justice, not revenge. Death is easy. Living with the consequences of your actions is harder. They will have decades to think about the children they killed, the families they destroyed. That is appropriate punishment. The reparations have been approved, Orr continued. Every family who lost someone on the 7 attacked ships will receive compensation. It will take us years to pay it all, but we will. The Empire owes this debt. The families do not want your money, Torres said quietly. They want their loved ones back, but since we cannot give them that, we will accept the reparations. The funds will go toward memorial projects, schools named after the victims, parks where families can remember them, something good built from something terrible. Or look down at his hands. I served the Empire for 30 years. I believed we were honorable. I defended actions I should have questioned. When I learned the truth about the Aurora's hope, about the deliberate murder of children, I could not serve that government anymore. Many officers felt the same. You made the right choice, Tors said. Earth recognizes the difference between the government that committed crimes and the people who stopped them. The quarantine ends today because of leaders like you who chose justice over loyalty to corrupt authority. What happens now? Or asked. The Empire is broken, our economy is shattered, our military is reduced to defensive forces, we are vulnerable in a dangerous galaxy. Tors pulled out another document. Earth proposes a partnership, not conquest, not occupation, a mutual defense agreement. We will help you rebuild, we will protect your borders while your economy recovers. In return, you will join us in ensuring that what happened to human civilians never happens to anyone else. The galaxy needs to learn that killing innocents has consequences. That lesson starts here. Or read through the proposal carefully. This is generous. Many species would have taken advantage of our weakness, demanded tribute or territorial concessions. You offer aid instead. Humanity learned a long time ago that helping others ultimately helps ourselves, Tors replied. A galaxy of strong, stable, ethical civilizations is safer for everyone. We would rather have allies than subjects, partners than servants. The old empire took from others. The new empire, whatever form it takes, should give. I accept these terms, Or said. On behalf of the provisional government and the citizens who support reform, we will work with Earth to build something better from these ruins. They signed the documents together. The quarantine was officially over. Trade routes would reopen. Medical supplies would flow again. Life would return to normal, or at least to a new normal. One where the Empire remembered the cost of treating other species as inferior. Justin Park stood at the memorial on Luna. The monument was simple but powerful. 7 pillars of black stone, each representing one of the destroyed colony ships. Names were carved into the stone. 50,000 names. Men, women, and children who died because someone decided they did not matter. He found the names he was looking for. Park, his wife. Sophie Park, his daughter, age 8. Emma Park, his daughter, age 5. He touched each name gently as if he could somehow reach through the stone to them. I wanted them dead, he said quietly. He was not alone. Ambassador Tors stood beside him. She had asked to meet him here at the memorial. When I first heard about the trials, I wanted and all his people executed. I wanted them to suffer the way my family suffered. That is a natural response, Tors said. You lost everything. But then I watched the trials. I saw standing there knowing he destroyed his own empire, knowing his name would be remembered as a monster, knowing he would spend the rest of his life in a cell thinking about the thousands he killed. And I realized, maybe this is better. He lives with it. Every single day he remembers what he did. Death would have been mercy. This is justice. Tors said nothing for a moment. Your family would be proud of you for choosing the harder path, for letting the law work instead of demanding revenge. Justin shook his head. I do not know about that, but I know that if we had killed them all, if we had burned Empire worlds the way they wanted to burn Earth, we would have become just like them. My daughters deserved better than that. They deserved a father who chose to be better than the people who killed them. Earth chose the same thing, Tors said. We could have destroyed the Empire, our weapons were superior, our defenses were absolute, but we remembered who we are. We are not conquerors, we are protectors, even when it is hard, even when revenge would be easier. Justin looked at his daughters' names one more time. The memorial is beautiful. The school being built in their names will help other children learn and grow. That is a better tribute than killing people in revenge. Would you like to speak at the dedication ceremony? Tors asked. Many families will be there. Your words could help them. Maybe, Justin said. I will think about it. Right now, I just want to remember them, not as victims, as my family, as the people they were before someone took them from me. Tors left him alone with his memories. As she walked away, she thought about all the families who had lost someone, all the pain that could never be fully healed, but also about the choice humanity made, to seek justice without becoming monsters, to enforce consequences without losing their souls. Wells stood at the spaceport, watching the new colony ship prepare for launch. It was called the Second Dawn, named for one of the ships destroyed by the Empire. But unlike its namesake, this ship would reach its destination. Commander Orr's government had guaranteed safe passage. Human patrol ships would escort it through former Empire space, and every world along the route had agreed to provide assistance if needed. Nervous, Admiral Cross asked. He had come to see the launch personally. A little, admitted. She was the colony coordinator, responsible for organizing the new wave of human settlements. 3 months ago, sending a colony ship through this region would have been suicide. Now we have protection guarantees from the same species that attacked us. The galaxy is changing, Cross said. The Empire learned that attacking humans has consequences. Other species watched and learned the same lesson. No one wants Earth as an enemy. Do you think the peace will last? Cross considered the question carefully. As long as we remain strong enough to enforce it, as long as we show that mercy is not weakness, the quarantine taught the galaxy something important. Earth will tolerate a lot, we will negotiate, we will compromise, we will forgive mistakes. But if you kill our children, if you attack our innocent civilians, we will respond with overwhelming force. That message is clear now. The colony ship's engines began warming up. Watched families board, carrying their belongings and their dreams. These people were brave. They knew what happened to the Aurora's hope. They were going anyway because they believed Earth would protect them. That was a responsibility took seriously. How many more colony ships do we have scheduled? Cross asked. 15 in the next 6 months, all going to different systems, all with full security escorts. The Provisional Empire government is even helping us identify good planets for settlement. They want to show they have changed. Keep me updated on their progress, Cross said. And thank you for giving these families a chance to dream again. After everything that happened, they needed to believe the future could still be bright. At Earth's Defense Fleet headquarters, Admiral Cross gave his final address to the assembled officers. The quarantine was over, but the work was not finished. Never finished. We did not seek this conflict, he began. We did not want to become enforcers of galactic justice. We wanted to explore, to settle new worlds, to build friendships with other species. The Empire took that choice from us when they decided human lives were expendable. He looked at the faces watching him. These men and women had enforced the quarantine. They had stood at their posts for months, turning back ships, disabling fleets, maintaining the pressure that ultimately brought the Empire down. You executed your duties with precision and restraint. You disabled thousands of ships without killing thousands of beings. You showed that human strength does not require human cruelty. The galaxy watched you work and learned what humanity truly is, not conquerors, not monsters, protectors who enforce consequences while remembering mercy. Captain Price stood among the officers. He remembered the moment at Taurus Gate when his 3 ships faced 200 Empire vessels. He remembered disabling them all without killing a single crew member. That had been the defining moment. That was when the galaxy realized human weapons could destroy anything, but humans chose to disable instead. The quarantine is ended, Cross continued. But our vigilance is not. The Empire has reformed. They have new leadership, new values, new goals, but trust is earned through actions, not promises. We will watch them. We will work with them, and if necessary, we will remind them why attacking humans is a mistake they will never want to make again. What about the Galactic Council? Someone asked. They refused to help us. They dismissed our complaints. Do we trust them now? Cross smiled grimly. The Council has learned the same lesson the Empire learned. Earth is not a species to be dismissed or ignored. We do not need their permission to protect our people. We do not need their approval to enforce justice. They failed us when we needed them. We succeeded without them. That changes our relationship going forward. We will work with the Council when our goals align, but we will never again depend on them to defend human interests. We defend ourselves. The room erupted in applause. These officers had seen the truth during the quarantine. Earth stood alone against an empire of 10,000 worlds, and Earth won, not through diplomatic maneuvering or council support, but through strength, preparation, and the moral courage to enforce consequences. One more thing, Cross said as the applause died down. The galaxy now knows what happens when you attack human civilians, but they also know something else. They know that humans feed their enemies' children. They know we treat captured crews with dignity. They know we offer reconstruction help to nations we defeated. That is equally important. We are strong enough to destroy. We are wise enough to build instead. Both halves of that equation matter. Remember that in the years ahead. The Galactic Council held a special session 1 month after the quarantine ended. Every member species attended. This was not a routine meeting. This was a reckoning. Ambassador Torres stood at the central platform, the same place she had stood months ago when she begged for justice and received dismissal instead. Now the council members looked at her very differently. Now they understood what human patience looked like when it ran out. Ambassador Torres, the council chairman said. His voice was respectful now, without the condescension from before. Earth has demonstrated remarkable restraint and power. The quarantine achieved its goals without massive loss of life. The Council wishes to acknowledge Earth's measured response to provocation. Torres let the words hang in the air for a moment. The Council wishes to acknowledge it, not to apologize for failing to prevent it, not to admit that your inaction forced Earth to act alone, just to acknowledge what we had to do because you would not. Uncomfortable silence filled the chamber. No one spoke. They all remembered dismissing her pleas. They all remembered telling her that human lives were not important enough to risk conflict with the Empire. 50,000 humans died, Torres continued. Children, families, innocent people seeking new homes, they died because the Empire felt entitled to kill them. And when Earth asked for justice, this council offered diplomatic talks. More delays, more patience, more deaths. The situation was complex, one council member tried to say. It was simple, Torres interrupted. Civilians were murdered, the killers needed to face consequences. You chose politics over justice, so Earth enforced justice without you. We did your job because you would not do it yourselves. What does Earth want from this council? The chairman asked. Recognition, Torres replied. Earth is not a junior member anymore. We are not a young species that needs guidance from elders. We have proven we can defend ourselves. We have proven we can enforce galactic peace when necessary. We did what you could not. That changes our relationship going forward. Earth seeks a seat on the council, another member asked. Earth seeks respect, Torres corrected. We will work with this council when our values align, but we will never again defer to your judgment on human safety. We will never again wait for your permission to protect our people. You failed that test. We passed it. Remember that the next time you consider dismissing someone's plea for help. She left the chamber. Behind her, the council members sat in silence. The balance of galactic power had shifted. Earth was no longer asking for a seat at the table. They had built their own table, and they had shown that sometimes strength and moral clarity mattered more than ancient authority and diplomatic tradition. 5 years passed. The memorial on Lunar expanded to include new names, not victims of attack but colonists who died of natural causes in their new homes. Peaceful deaths surrounded by family on worlds they helped build. The tragedy was not forgotten, but it was balanced by new hope. The reformed government thrived under Or's leadership. Trade with Earth brought prosperity. Human technology improved empire worlds. Cooperation replaced conflict. The next generation of children learned about the war not as glory but as a warning, a lesson about the cost of treating other species as inferior. Admiral Daniel Cross retired from active service but remained as an advisor. Young officers studied his decisions during the quarantine, learning about the balance between strength and restraint. Earth's military grew stronger but never lost sight of its purpose: to protect, not conquer; to defend, not dominate. Justin Park spoke at his daughter's school dedication ceremony. He told the children that his girls loved reading, playing in the garden, and asking questions about everything. He told them that his daughters would have wanted their names on a place of learning and growth, not revenge and hate. The children planted flowers around the memorial, adding life to the memory of loss. Ambassador Torres received offers from dozens of worlds seeking partnership agreements with Earth. Everyone wanted to be allies with the species that enforced justice while showing mercy. She negotiated carefully, building a network of relationships based on mutual respect rather than dominance. Captain Price continued commanding patrol ships, now escorting colony vessels to new worlds. He watched families board ships without fear, trusting that humanity would protect them. That trust was his mission to uphold every single day. And across the galaxy, on every world and station, people learned the same lesson. Earth had issued its final warning. The quarantine had ended, but the message remained clear. Humanity will always prefer peace. Humanity will always offer second chances. Humanity will always protect innocence regardless of species. But humanity will never again tolerate the killing of its children without consequences. That truth was absolute. That promise was permanent. That warning would never need to be issued again. The galaxy understood, and in understanding they found not fear but hope. Because if humans could show such strength combined with such mercy, perhaps there was a path forward for all species. A galaxy where justice meant more than power, where consequences applied to everyone equally, where protecting the innocent mattered more than political convenience. Earth had not conquered the galaxy, but Earth had changed it. And that change would echo through the centuries to come, a reminder that sometimes the smallest species can teach the oldest empires the most important lessons about honor, justice, and the true meaning of strength. Why through at it? That had defended itself without losing its soul. Humanity had won not by being more ruthless than their enemies, but by being better. The quarantine had done its job, the Empire had learned its lesson, and the galaxy would never again make the mistake of thinking human mercy was human weakness. Earth had issued its final warning. The Galactic Empire had learned to listen. Sand human civilians. Children died because your government wanted to show dominance. Earth responded with a quarantine. Your leaders could have negotiated. They could have delivered justice. They chose pride instead. Now you suffer because of their choices, but you are not our enemies. We send medicine for your sick. We provide food for your hungry. We protect your children while your leaders let them starve. The quarantine will end when those responsible face justice. Not before. Your government has a choice. You have a choice. Earth has already made its choice. We protect innocence regardless of species. That is the difference between us and them. The message played on every screen in the Empire. Billions heard it. Billions began to understand. Earth was not their enemy, their own government was, and change was coming whether the High Chancellor wanted it or not. He ended the communication and turned to his crew. Stand down from battle stations. Resume normal patrol. Lieutenant Cole looked at him. Sir, should we report this to Command? Command already knows, Price said. This was the demonstration. Now the Empire knows too, and soon the entire galaxy will understand. Earth does not bluff, we do not threaten, we promise, and we deliver. Cross thought about the Aurora's hope, about the 50,000 dreams that ended in fire and vacuum, about the children who never got to see their new home, about the parents who died trying to protect them. Good, he said. Now we see if the Empire has learned anything about consequences.